1% of our population joins the military, yet over 50% of suicides are carried out by our heroes. It is time to find a way to help those who served our country. I challenge you to join us on February 22nd for our 22-hour podcast, Community Mission to Serve Our Veterans. Tell your story, introduce your solutions, inform us about jobs, homes, or other opportunities to show your support to our veterans. Donate or sponsor. Use the QR code above and prove you're ready to make a difference. Make a commitment to the community mission to serve our veterans. And just like that, I get to do this again. All the way back from, I don't know, halfway around the world or 3/4 of the way around the world or wherever around the world he was. It's our buddy Patrick. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, man. It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good.
Missed you guys, man.
Hey, we missed you, man. How was your trip?
Man, it was absolutely awesome, man. It was the trip of a lifetime, man. Came back and engaged in everything, bro. So got to see about 4 different countries. I went to Singapore. I did Philippines. I did Indonesia and Malaysia. So
wow, that sounds great. So it's great to have you back. Maybe sometime we're going to have just a conversation and talk about your trip. I know that you're going to be starting to bring your podcast back to the channel, and I'm sorry I haven't got back to you, man. I've been a little busy, so
no worries, man. I'm trying to play catch up too from the last month, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. So, well, we got a great guest coming on with us tonight. She's got a very intriguing slideshow that she's going to be. I got a little glimpse of the slideshow, and there's one slide on it that it kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but then it just made me laugh. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. But Patrick, please tell us, who are you? We don't know anymore. You've been gone for so long. Who are you?
So my name is Patrick Myers. I'm the founder of Karis Global, which is an organization where we get together other organizations to support each other in like-minded ministry and the things that we do. So we sort of support each other financially, with innovations, ideas, and with resources. So we can be self-sufficient and not have to depend on the system and fundraising and all these other things. So that's what a Karis Global does. And we just to have a global impact, we're sharing the gospel around the world.
That's great. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that the kids are glad that you're back and they can get back into their program and everything gets back to normal. But it's really good to have you back. My name is Zach Clayton. I started Community Pay It Forward 7 years ago, and it's just a work in progress. Best way to put it. What we do is we take a referral from your closed business and we turn that into a donation for people who are trying to do good around the world. Great way to help people if they're in an emergency situation, if they're a nonprofit, if they're trying to get their kid to a trip for school, church, or club activities, whatever it is. So one of the things that we've got coming up in 10 days, as the sweat pours down my skull when I say this, in 10 days, we have the 22-hour podcast. 22 hours, our mission, our community mission to serve our veterans. The night before, and I just got this verified, so that's the reason I've got to share it with you. The night before, which is Wednesday the 21st, Healing Warriors will be in Fort Collins at 5 o'clock. Veterans Honoring Veterans will be in Loveland, Buffalo Wild Wings at 5 o'clock. I will be in Greeley at 5 o'clock, and I will be recording an hour because I'm not going to have enough, podcasting the next day. So I'm going to be up, just going to podcast that night too. But we're going to record 1 hour live right there. And I invite you, if you're in the Greeley area, to come and join me and sit down and tell us how much the veterans mean to you, what you would like to do to support the veterans, or what you would like to see happen and how we can support veterans even more. This is a discussion on how we can help those who served us. It's something that is a deep, deep passion of mine. I know that we are so excited to, we're got a full roster almost. I mean, the show is filling up great. We've got dogs and tags that we're going to be working with in Cheyenne. They may actually come down and join Healing Warriors in Fort Collins at the Buffalo Wild Wings. By the way, if I would have been a little smarter, we could have got the Cheyenne store possibly too. But, hey, it was a little brain fried. So, but, we invite you to come out and join us. We invite you to come out and do some great things. And we invite you to come out for our community mission to serve our veterans. Now I'd like to bring on our guest. I met this wonderful lady last week. And before she was even done talking, I'm like, I want you to come on to the podcast, please, because it's unique. And this is one of those that, is a very wonderful thing for people who just want something different, don't want the drugs and don't want the bunch of talking and stuff. So, and instead of me butchering it, I'm going to go on ahead and bring her on. It is Karis Meskimen. Karis like Paris. I remember you saying that to me. How are you doing, sweetheart?
Great. Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I am the founder of Senior Snuggles. And what my mission is just to spread comfort and joy to older adults through presentations on the healing power of positive touch. So we're all about oxytocin and what you can do in your own body and with other people to spread the joy and the love and to overcome any kind of challenges that folks have. I speak in senior centers. I talk to assisted living, memory care, and even independent residents about the positive power of touch and how oxytocin can actually be a healing property in your body. So I bring music and my 5-foot-tall bear, and we do bear hugs, and we laugh it up, and I teach people different techniques that they can do for themselves to comfort themselves, and then we do some interactive group activities as well. So it's a really good time.
Can you explain to us what oxytocin is?
Sure. So oxytocin is a hormone that's in your body that is produced when we have feelings of positive social interactions. And one way that it actually comes about is through positive touch. So if you think about a handshake, when you shake someone's hand, you look at them, you smile, this is someone that you're happy to meet and greet. What happens is that pressure on your skin actually produces something called oxytocin, which can help you form social bonds. It's actually something that mothers and babies produce when they are bonding. And that's why it's sometimes called the trust chemical or the cuddle hormone. There's huge health benefits to it for mental health. It can prevent anxiety, helps with depression recovery, actually decreases insomnia, so it can help you sleep better, but mentally can increase your self-esteem, really increase your feeling of optimism and overcome social anxiety and fear. So for the mental health reasons alone, it's a great thing. But even there are studies that say it has physical benefits too, in reducing pain, in healing wounds, insulin resistance. It can actually help process everything, reduces stress, can reduce cravings, even with substance abuse, decreases intestinal inflammation, and it also affects serotonin levels. All good things.
Yeah, I know that it's kind of funny because one of the things that people were a little when I was talking about bringing you on, one of the things that I got was, well, is this going to put off the guys? And I'm like, why? I'm a biker and we hug each other all the time, and it's like a handshake. That's what it is. We get together and that's our greeting, and it's because hey, it's good to see you, good to see you're alive, good to see that you're well as you can be. But I run in an area where there is a lot of hugging. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, no, I don't think this is going to put off guys at all. Now, if it's done right, and like we discussed, this isn't something where you're talking about going up and just planting your hands on people and being obscene, right?
That's absolutely right. One of the main things that we talk about is the idea of consent. So positive touch is a couple of things. One, it's always done with permission. So we always want to ask, can I shake your hand? Can I give you a hug? May I hold your hand? Those kinds of things. If you get a yes, then it's a go ahead. And if you get a no, it's really nice to acknowledge and say, thank you for taking care of yourself, because that's just a boundary for some people. And we want to make it okay to say no, and that give people the choice. So it's all about consent. We talk about that a lot when we talk about increasing positive touch in our lives. It's very important that it's done with permission and that it's a positive experience for the recipient.
Yeah, you don't know what another person has went through. You can't sit there and just assume that somebody says no and you're like, wow, you're just a stick in the mud. You don't know what has happened to them. You don't know if there's been things in their life that, say a male coming up and hugging someone, you don't know how threatening that is to them. So you really...
Yeah, we call it the touch history. Some people have very different touch histories, and so touch can mean different things to different people.
Patrick, you're on mute, brother. See?
No, so this is one of those things, man, where so I was very, very against this until I just went to Singapore. And so my fiance, she's all about like massages and stuff like that. And I think we had about like 4 or 5, 6 of them or something like that while I was there in the month. And I'm not a person that likes to be touched and like, except like she's fine, but I don't really like, it's a really hard thing for me to let someone be putting their hands all over me and all that other kind of stuff. But when you're talking about like what happens when that happens, right? Like the serotonin and all the positive benefits of that, it blew my mind how much stuff that I had stored inside my body that when I got that massage done, like I was like a new person. And then when the first time it was a lot of tension. I was like, they were like, just relax,
Mm.
relax. And I couldn't. And I was just like, and then about the third time, it was this thing where I can honestly say it was affecting my soul. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this, because like I experienced it for myself, and I experienced the change that it did in me. That it was something that I didn't expect to happen, and I was very afraid of until I experienced it for myself.
Yeah. Well, touch is very important. It's really, they say it's the first thing to develop in the womb, so that babies will actually build their sense of touch first, and it's the very last thing to leave. The experience I had that made me want to start this business was a couple of them, but primarily it had to do with my brother, who was a massage therapist. We grew up in Evergreen in the 70s, and he and I just, grew up doing everything together. We played in the mountains. We did musical theater together. We did all these things. We were each other's kind of just, we were each other's siblings. We were the only one we had around, and we were really, really close. He ended up becoming a massage therapist, but in about 2015, he was diagnosed with brain cancer. And he deteriorated very, very quickly. But there were so many people around him that would just follow him whichever spa he went to. He had such a gift with massage therapy that people wanted that touch. He had the ability to just rub his hands together. They were warm. You could feel the energy coming off of him. And he touched hundreds of people's lives, like literally. And when he was in hospice, the day before he died, he actually had a seizure and was not able to move or speak anymore. And I just wanted him to know that I was there and to comfort him. I crawled into bed and leaned up against his back and took his hand, and he was actually able to squeeze my hand, even though he couldn't move the rest of his body. And I think that's because that positive touch was there, and the intention and the energy was there being shared, and touch is the last thing to leave your body. So that was an important moment for me, when I said, I want to be able to touch lives like he did. What can I do with this kind of overabundance of love that I have to give? Where can I put this? I want to work with older adults. I've always wanted to my whole life. And how can I put those two things together? And came up with Senior Snuggles in about 2017 after he passed.
Karis, I asked you the question when we first met. How difficult is it working with a group of people that back in the day, touch wasn't exactly as welcomed or as normalized as it is now? Now it's nothing to walk up and hug a girl that you're not, not attached to or something like that, or as I've mentioned, two guys hugging each other. Now that's not something that's even looked at twice. But back then there wasn't a lot of acceptance for it. There was more of a standoffish nature.
Mm-hmm.
What is it what's the reaction you get from some of the elderly people that you first encounter with this?
Yeah, good question. I first of all, I bring stuffed animals with me, and I mean like they're really soft ones, the ones that you pet. They're like mink, right? So I give everybody a chance to have some tactile stimulation so that they remember that touch is a good thing, that it feels good on their skin, that touch can be very positive. And then we just start talking about, touch is kind of like fruits and vegetables. There's been studies that say, can you survive without fruits and vegetables? Sure, you can be a meat and potatoes person your whole life. You're just not going to be as healthy as you would be if you ate fruits and vegetables. And touch is very similar. You can survive without it. It just actually helps us be a healthier body when you get positive touch. And so when I talk about the research behind it and the ways that it makes people feel, some people start to open their mind to, well, if it's good for us, then maybe we should be doing it more. And we talk about the stigma and how touch has sometimes been taboo in the past. And it's because it's been misused. And we talk about, it is about consent. It is about having permission. And touch has been abused in our society. And we have to acknowledge that and say that's been a part of our history. And we're trying to take the shift to what does positive touch mean for the recipient, and how do you get permission to do that, and then to get the benefits of the oxytocin. So we just have to really acknowledge our past.
Did you have a question, Patrick?
No. I just, I was really just kind of wondering, like, the details and how it actually works. I'm pretty sure you're going to get into.
Sure.
But I like the step process of kind of reintroducing it back to them, because like I'm actually getting ready to work with some elderly homeless teenagers that I'm working with, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I've worked with them before, is that's probably one of the last things. That's probably one of the first things to go for them, because when they go to those kind of places, like mm-hmm. like communication and touch are right. probably one of the major things that goes away right when they get in there. And so, mm-hmm. and then contact with family, friends, people that's going to come and visit. And so that's a major cause of like the depression, anxiety, and all the other kind of stuff that happens in those places. And, because a lot of times it can be really dark places. Sure. And not intentionally, it's just what happens when you don't have those things. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm just really excited to understand how it actually works. And I'm just looking for the education part, and also, if it's something that I can apply to what I'm actually currently just stepping into, because this is something I never heard of. Okay. But I understand the value of it because of what happened to me recently.
Yeah.
Well, Karis, would you like to go on ahead and share your slideshow with us? I would love to bring that on.
Yeah.
And let me go on ahead and stop my scroll. That way the people can see the entire screen. So, and Patrick, you tell me, all right? You tell me which is the slide that I found funny, okay? So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to take us off the screen. You can still hear us, but this way people can see more of the slideshow.
Great. So this is a part of my presentation, the power of positive touch. And so this is what I start with when we start talking about positive touch. People are like, what are you even talking about? So this is an example of what I mean by positive touch. What do you all see on the screen there?
Roller coaster, just having fun and holding on to each other for dear life.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I see a lot of like the joy in the moment and smiling and stuff like that, plus them holding hands.
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about. It's a supportive touch. It's a loving, a comforting touch, something that feels good to both parties, right? So this is an example. A hug is an example. Holding hands is an example. Touching someone on the arm, giving a back massage. All these things are examples of positive touch because it's supportive and it's being received positively by both parties. So then I like to talk about, what do we not mean and we talk about positive touch? So
that's the one, brother. That's it right there.
This is not an example of positive touch, right? We're not talking about anything that is inappropriate, right? We talk about touching outside the bikini area, right? So this obviously violates that rule. It's also done with permission. So does it look like the hippo on the right had given permission for the hippo on the left?
No.
The next one bothered. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Like
I'm joking.
Both in for quite a surprise.
So that's what we want. Is we just want the laughter, we want the fun, we want to say, yes, touch can be scary, but it can also just, when you talk about it, let's just have a good time. Let's not make it so scary. But also, let's talk about consent. And we talk about it right off the bat. We're not talking about anything inappropriate or unwanted. And then I talk about, some people are like puppies, right? Where this, you can kind of see he's looking at you. He's saying, "Oh, would you please pick me up and hold me? I want to be petted." And then there's a cat, which is, I will let you know if and when I want to be touched, and it will be on my terms, and pretty much stay away from me until I give you permission, right? So some people, we go around the circle and say, are you more like a puppy or are you more like a cat? And we say why. And, then you just kind of get a sense of who the people are in the room and what their comfort level with touch is, just to set a baseline to say, like, this person's probably not going to want to hug at the end, and that's totally fine. It's all about consent. And then we start off by talking about, how would you like to feel better? And so the whole idea of my presentation is for the end of the time that we have together, for us to feel better. And what we can do to make ourselves feel better is to set a positive intention to feel better, because our minds can impact how our bodies respond. And then I talk about an experiment that was done back in the 60s with 13 boys that were deathly afraid of, or not afraid of, but had a reaction to this Japanese lacquer plant. They were very sensitive to it, and it would make them break out in rashes and blisters and those types of things. So what they did is they had this experiment where 13 boys with their eyes shut, they said they were touching them on the arm with this poisonous lacquer plant, and they would just break out in hives. But what was actually happening is they were being touched with a non-toxic plant. But because they thought in their mind it was the Japanese lacquer plant, they actually had reactions and redness and all kinds of painful blisters on their arms, even though it was not that plant. And with their eyes still closed, they said, now we're going to touch you on the other arm with a harmless plant. And it was actually the Japanese lacquer plant. 11 out of the 13 boys had no reaction whatsoever to it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it just goes to show you that what your mind believes, your body will actually take on. So when we talk about wanting to feel better, we can help ourselves feel better just with our mind. So I have people say, just say in your mind, I want to feel better. And then say out loud together, I intend to feel better, and then we're shouting it from the rooftops at the end. It's because we want to make ourselves feel better by using our mind. So I talk a little bit about that. So we say together, I intend to feel better, and we get real excited about it. Then I do some things with Donna Eden's daily energy routine. She has she calls them the 4 thumps. And it's really to get your positive energy flowing, especially in the morning. And I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because it's easier to do if I actually can show you on my own face and body. But the first one she talks about is thumping right here on your cheekbones. And if you thump right there, it starts to get the energy flowing in your body. You can actually kind of sort of feel it pulsing down your body. Try it with me, Patrick. It's just a thumping right on your cheekbones, and it starts to ground your body, and it can make you just kind of bring yourself into your body. So that's one of the things she starts with in the morning, just to bring yourself into your body. And then the next one she has is it's right here on your collarbones. It's right at the corners of your collarbones. Thump right there. And that is for vitality. She talks about increasing your vitality with this thump. And then the next one is right here in the middle of your chest. That's on your thymus. And it actually, if you can press right here in the middle, just thump there, that is for your immune system. It's to help boost your immune system right there, thumping on the thymus. And then there's one more you can't really see. It's thumping on your sides a little bit. It's down about your rib cage, the bottom of your rib cage. And that one can help with metabolism and to deal with toxins. So I just start to give them an opportunity to see how touch can produce different effects in your body, depending on what you're doing with it. So this is something I like to share that just gets people comfortable with the idea of touch. We actually talk about the hands and the arms being like jumper cables. So whenever you're touching yourself with two hands, it's like you're creating an energy circuit within your body. Those jumper cables on the ends of your hands are touching yourself and sending energy all the way through your body in a circuit. So I try to teach them a little bit about how they can do things for themselves that give themselves a positive touch.
Patrick?
Yeah, question.
No, so this one is actually really cool that you're bringing this up, because I literally just watched something 2 days ago where this Chinese guy. So I'm a big believer in holistic medications and holistic applications to healing. And there's just a lot of things that our body is capable of that we've just lost contact with over time. I'm a huge believer of that. And so this Chinese guy was talking about similar to these things, like tapping in certain places and like cupping up under your armpits and hitting here. And so, I thought it was really silly, but nobody was around watching me. So I tried it, and it was actually I'm very in tune with like what's going on inside of me. That's something that I've just come to learn how to do over the last couple of years. And it was something where I could really sense changes in things happening and things releasing when he was talking about this does this does that. It seems like people can be very skeptical, and it's like you said, it's what you believe, and it has a lot of effect on things. And so, for those out there seeing, and you see us tapping on our eyes and all that kind of stuff, like it might seem like a silly thing at first, but people have had the ability through certain things to be able to heal themselves for thousands of years before medication and all that kind of stuff came on the scene. Mm-hmm. And you have Big Pharma. They don't want you to know these things, that you can do this, because it's a money boom. Yeah. And so it's just really cool that you're bringing this up, because I literally just learned about this particular type of thing, and then I tried it out, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I think it works a little bit, And so it's something I'm going to add to my routine. But I didn't know about the eye one, the collarbone one, and whatnot. So that's a new one.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird with the eyeball one. My accident, my facial fractures were under here. So I've got the metal there, which is kind of a weird feeling to me. Bet. Partially because I haven't done this for a long time. That's kind of like, weird feeling to me, knowing that, I'm part Iron Man right here. So that was a weird feeling, going back and doing that. But yeah, they had to put the metal down in there and to try to put my face together. They could have given me anybody's face, but they gave me back to one I've been ruining for 50 years. Thanks a lot.
Well, at least it looks familiar, right?
Yeah. I woke up knowing who I was and go, damn, it could have been anybody.
It's me again. Well, I can teach you a couple more tricks that can help with being calm and balanced, calming yourself. A lot of times, if we just get overwhelmed, there's a couple really great techniques for that. And one is called a head hold, or a healing head hold. And the way you do it is you put your hand on the front, like on your forehead, with your thumb up towards your hairline. And then in the back, just hold your head with the back of your hand. And then just kind of gently roll it around, whatever feels comfortable to you. And take some deep breaths. And that can really start to help you feel balanced and calm you when you're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I know Zach is dealing with that a little bit. You might have to try that one when you see all the things that you have to be doing right now.
Yeah, that's actually one that my physical therapist kind of has me do, to where they tell me to, release the tension, and they just kind of move it around a little bit. after the rotator cuff surgery and
Mhm.
the muscle reattachment.
Oh,
So I have to do a lot of that, to where it's like, here, trust me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. Crack.
yeah, that's always the worst in physical therapy.
No cracking, no cracking. And it's just, you just created an energy circuit with your own two hands, right? So you're sending your energy through your own body, and those particular points are helpful for calming. There's another one that you may have heard of. It's called a butterfly tap. And it's where you kind of hug yourself and you just tap one arm on one arm and then the other arm. And this is really good for feelings of overwhelmed or a negative emotion. And it really helps if you can just say to yourself while you do it, just very gently, very slowly, it's okay. And I'm okay. And just kind of repeat that as you go back and forth, especially if you're just feeling really negative emotions or anything that's got you upset. It helps you feel safe again. And it's called the butterfly tap. And that can be really helpful also for staff to know when I'm in these facilities, like these assisted living memory care places. It's something I'm also teaching the staff to do so that they can use it with folks if they get agitated, and they can teach them how to do that again and remind them that that's a tool that they have in their tool belt.
That's actually got to be a great one for the staff themselves, because they are so overrun with
Right.
emotions and other people. I know a lot of people who have worked in elderly care facilities, and just the amount of work put on them.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to let them take a minute to tell themselves, I am okay, I am good, even though this person really beat me up, I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be good for really a lot of different reasons. So I was going to take you all through something else I do with folks. It's called a virtual hug. And people are like, well, can a virtual hug even be anything close to a real hug? And if you think about it, a hug is really good for two different reasons. It has two components. And one is the feeling in your heart, right? When you're getting a hug from someone that you are close to, or you can appreciate, that wants to support you. And the other one is the feeling on your skin. So the virtual hug is something that I teach people to do. And I have them first close down their eyes. If you want to do this with me, I'll walk you through it. It's kind of like a guided meditation. So just close down your eyes and focus your attention in the area of your heart. You can put your hand on your heart if it helps to shift your focus to the area of your heart. And then if you can, pretend like your breath is flowing through your heart, like in through your heart and out through your heart. And just breathe a little more slowly and a little more deeply than you normally do. And now I want you to think of someone who's not in the room who has given you a really great hug in the past. Just think of someone whose love and support have meant a great deal to you. Maybe someone who's nurtured your spirit, accepted you unconditionally, who has loved you and encouraged you. And I want you to imagine them in front of you right now and see their face smiling at you. And just know how it feels in your body as you remember the energy of that person. Imagine them right there at arm's length where you can look directly into their eyes. Now, I want you to wrap your arms around yourself. So grab both of your arms like you're hugging yourself. And imagine that these are the arms of your treasured friend or loved one. And just let yourself be held and assured, imagining the warmth of their physical touch on your arms And you can even rub your arms as they might if it feels comfortable. Just relax into that pose as you imagine being held in these arms, sharing your heart space and feeling what is most nourishing to your spirit. Just take some slow, deep breaths and exhale fully. And just enjoy your hug for the next little bit while you feel the gratitude of having the loving energy of that person present for you right now. All right. So you can relax your shoulders, your back, and your neck, and bring your hands down to your elbows if it's more comfortable. Just soak up those sensations in your body and feel the love in your heart. So that just gave us the experience of two things. It was the love in your heart and then the pressure on your skin. So you're feeling it in your heart and you're feeling it on your skin. Do you, either one of you, want to share who you got your hug from?
It was my youngest son. He, every time he comes over, he that's how we show appreciation for each other, is we and yeah, it's my youngest boy, Oob. He
Nice.
he was the first person I could think of.
There you go.
So,
The good hugger.
Yeah, he got that from his dad, I guess.
What couple of words
guy someday?
What couple of words would you use to describe how you feel now?
Reassured. I do. I feel reassured, and it's actually kind of humored because I know his personality, and I know that there would have been, man, you're getting fat or something in my ear, and so, but that's us. That's who we are. So I mean, it's definitely, I mean, a little, I mean, maybe a little homesick for him, but not much, I mean, because I feel more positive than I do the homesickness. But yeah,
Yes. Patrick, what was that like for you?
For me, it was there was a lot of hugs from a lot of different people at one day. First my fiance, then there's several people at church that just like hug the spirit, like whatever hugs they give, man. It's just like that moment is the pureness in it, and just like, so it's just the countless people that have held me up in this portion of my life. So it was just first of all, just a lot of love from my fiance, and then like just the support of the actual love that I do have in my life. It's a lot. It's a lot of people. Sometimes you don't see it that way.
Yeah.
So
it's nice to be in touch with it.
One of the people who have reacted to this show is a really, really good friend of mine, John Wayne Vogels of Martyred Angels, and he and I we have a lot of conversations. I tell people all the time. See, John lost his son at 3 years old, and blade and drowned in a pond and on his family property, and every time I see John, you can tell the pain is still in him. And so when we hug, it's more, it's good to see you, brother. It's good to be here, brother. But it's also, I got you. And it's a good way, because he also sees, that there's still, hey, that accident could have been something different. You could have not been here anymore. So, I mean, there is that part, where I got you. And that's another thing that I really feel a lot of times with the hugs when it comes to, my really good friends, is that feeling of, we've got each other. We're here.
Yep.
support. So
that's what it's about. That's what it's all about. And it's really, that's what touch is for, is to show your support and your care for another person. So the thing that I often end with in my presentations is how to increase oxytocin in your life, just because these folks are in a community where they are around people, even if they're at a senior center, right? They're getting together in groups, but being intentional and conscious about the fact that we are here together and we are here to support one another. That's what we're put here on earth to do. I mean, otherwise we would have been put here by ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's about the kind of the unconditional love and support that you can get from positive touch. So I'll just show a couple last slides here. Because what we want to talk about is the ways that you can now that you're armed with all this knowledge about what oxytocin can do in your body and the health benefits of it. Like I said, the mental health benefits and the physical benefits. How do you increase oxytocin in your life? So the first key is what we've talked about before is to get consent. So it's always, would you like a hug? May I hold your hand? Then wait for a yes. So it's, if you go to shake hands with someone, usually when you hold your hand out, the other person will react by holding out their hand. But it's different with a hug. If you come at somebody with your arms open for a hug, they're not always going to be the one that just jumps right into your arms. That's why it's just best to verbalize, would you like a hug, or can I hold your hand? Then wait for a yes. Again, if people say no, that's okay. That's just them taking care of themselves. And that's what you can say is, I appreciate you taking care of yourself. So consent number one. So here's the first way is, first of all, to shake more hands, right? When you, they often have doctor's appointments, lots of doctor visits, or their care person is coming in to see them. Just extending your hand. And if you can even do it with two hands, that gives you double the amount of pressure on the skin. And that's going to release that much more oxytocin in your body. So, reaching your hand out is just anytime you're going to greet someone, look in their eyes and smile, and that's what releases oxytocin. So being conscious about it is the first thing. There's no reason you can't shake your doctor's hand. That's perfectly okay. And there's actually been research that says patients get better outcomes when their doctors touch them. So it's also a definite benefit that way as well. The next one is to add more hugs to your life. Again, asking first. But a really interesting thing is, if you can hold a hug for 20 seconds, that actually gets you the best dose of oxytocin. And the way to know what 20 seconds is if you sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So if you share with this person you're about to give a hug to, it's like, okay, I've heard this research that says the best amount of time for a hug is 20 seconds, and you're supposed to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Then you both start singing, you're laughing. Now you're getting all kinds of good serotonin and dopamine and everything going at the same time. So if you explain the research, then see if you can get a 20-second hug. That's a really fun thing to do.
That's
and then,
yeah.
Yep, it's a scientific fact, right? Then the third one is to hold hands. And that's, again, asking with consent, can I hold your hand? Just when you're sitting and watching TV or taking a walk, or you're just going to be anywhere in proximity to somebody, not doing anything with your hands at the moment, just thinking about it. And the best way to do it is to actually interlace your fingers. So do you know what I'm talking about? Where you kind of put your fingers together. That even can make you have a much deeper experience of oxytocin. So that's the way I told. We do an arm snuggle train in my activities, and we do the interlacing of fingers. So that's a really nice way to end it. So we just end our presentation with more hugs and more. We do back rubs if people want them. We just figure out all the different ways we can. This is my favorite. Prescription hugs, right? Alternative medicine.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah. So there's me.
So, what about it? And I'll tell you this: when you were talking about the holding of hands and stuff, I am at a point now that if my wife is not there for us to hold hands, I can't go to sleep.
Aw.
And I know that sounds so corny right now, but still. But I mean, we've gotten to the point where we fall asleep. We can fall asleep if we're holding each other's hands. And if she's not there, like when I had my surgery, she had to sleep in another room so she didn't, hit my arm. And plus, we've got our 3 dogs that just think that they have to run all over me. So she had to keep the hellhounds away during that time as well. But yeah, so, and I could not sleep for that 6 weeks. I slept horribly for that 6 weeks.
Well, you're missing oxytocin, right? Because that's the chemical that lets us know we're safe. And if you get used to it over time, that's what you're missing.
Zach, you're a pimp, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So
that was the sweetest thing I ever heard, brother. I was like, man, you almost made me tear up, bro.
I'm just hoping she's not watching.
I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, I'm just hoping she's not watching because she'll come down and go, oh, and then she'll.
Dude, you made the whole world just go, oh, man, dang, bro. All right. Holding hands while you sleep, bro. That's cool, man.
There we go. I open up on this podcast. I do it because I love. So,
Cool,
but,
man.
Hey, Patrick, what are you feeling right now, brother?
In all honesty, today it was cool having you on here, Karis, because it was a very joyful experience. I wasn't expecting to be hugging myself and tap myself in the face and all that other kind of stuff. That was not my expectations of the day, but I enjoyed it. Actually, it was a different change of pace, and like sometimes for people out there watching today, like sometimes you have to just get out of your own. You're doing the same thing every day, and you're getting the same results every day. And sometimes you have to get out of this space, and a challenge for those who watched it, just go follow when you see it again, because it's on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Do the tap, do the hugging. Imagine somebody to be honest, I was like sitting there and I was like, this woman's going to have us. As soon as you said something about the hug, I'm like, man, this woman's about to have us hugging ourselves, man. I was like, God, dog. You know what I mean? I got to do this on air and everything like that, man. And
Zach got us into
you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, come on. But then I was like, well, why not? I thought to myself, why not? Let's have fun with it, And then like the moment that I had for that moment was actually very significant. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to have that kind of, like, when I really let go for that moment, especially when you was like, let the breathing come out of the heart, and I felt myself settle. And then I was really picturing the different people in my life that have, in those moments where I need a hug or just didn't need a hug, just they gave a fantastic hug where I knew they loved me.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And it's no denying, because you can feel that. You can't fake that part, right?
Yeah.
And so it was just like I was just seeing person after person and after person after person after person that really truly loved me. And it was something I was not expecting to experience as deeply as I did from just something so simple.
Nice.
Patrick, I'm going to second everything that you said, because like I said, when and I knew I knew that we were going to end up doing this virtual hug, and I knew it. And I was like you said, I was kind of, okay, well, there's going to be people who turn this on and look, and they're going to go, what the hell are these guys doing?
Yeah.
What did I just turn to, But these guys are all eyes closed, hugging themselves. What is going on here? But the thing is that the immediate thought of my son, and then still having that freshness in it, and thinking of John, and thinking of all the people that have rushed through my head, that have been there throughout these times that, I just want to take and scream or whatever, it was amazing. And it's such a simple thing to do. And yeah, you're right, Patrick. Maybe this is one of the things that you don't want to do in the middle of a, bus.
Yeah.
Possibly. But then again, maybe you would. Let's be if you need to relax
when I was in Singapore, you needed that, man, because there was all these people touching me and stuff. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah. So, but
well, I have one question for you guys.
Yes.
At the beginning, we talked about wanting to feel better. Do you feel better?
Yeah. I haven't been able to hug my kids and my daughter and my 2 sons in 2 years, 2.5 years. And just having a moment to be able to experience that for a second was cool.
Nice. I'm glad.
Love you, brother. Really
Thank
do,
you for
man.
sharing that.
So, yeah, I do.
That's what it's about, spreading comfort and joy. And that's why we touch each other. It's about comfort. That's what we're here for. Let each other know that we're there to support you and hold you up. And do that with a handshake, do that with a hug, do that with holding hands, and be conscious of it and realize that we're here to help each other out. And it's just one other way to show our support and affection.
Well, Karis, if you've still got it up, can you bring up that last screen where it gives all of your information?
Oh, sure.
The one thing I forgot to get from you is all of your information. And I want to make sure that people can get a hold of you if they want to learn more about this. Because this is such a, like I said, this was awesome. This really was, and let's be honest, this was something that probably went over a little bit better than even I thought it was going to,
yeah, you can get in touch with me at seniorsnuggles.com. There's a way to reach out there. There's a contact card if you have questions or you have a group that you can think of that this would be good for, or you want to have me come and share the different holds and the ways that we can support one another and do group activities and bring my stuffed animals or anything like that. Or if you just want to share a resource or send me information that somebody else might be interested in.
Well, once again, reach out seniorsnuggles.com or you can email her at Karis, Karis at seniorsnuggles.com. Karis at seniorsnuggles.com. Karis, this was amazing. Thank you very much. I am so glad that we got connected, and I'm hoping that we can continue to work together and maybe do some things to where we can continue to do this. This is just one more way. This is the purpose of this show. We want to find ways to where people can understand that it's not one size fits all. Where maybe this is going to work for one thing, you're feeling a little down, you're feeling a little lonely. This is a way to bring those who love you back to you. I think it's, you're not feeling it on a date. I think this is a way to bring it back to you personally.
Butterfly taps.
Right. There you go. So, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I want to thank you personally. Patrick?
Same thing. For all your hard necks out there, it sounds like a silly thing. It's like, I know I'm that dude too. You know what I mean? So I get it. But you have a God-given capacity for so much greater in what you can feel inside of you and express. And since I died, I've become a great lover of life and of people and different ideas and different things like that. And open yourself up to just maybe, if you feel whatever you're comfortable with, but these are things that for a lot of us out there that are struggling with the depression, anxiety, different like that, and usually those come out of loneliness. This is a good thing. To be honest, just sitting here, it was actually very enjoyable. It was silly. Sometimes guys, we just need to let go and not be super hard and rah all the daggone time. You know what I mean? Sometimes just, be okay being okay.
And being vulnerable. I appreciate that.
Very much so. Karis, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Patrick, thank you very much. I really, great gentleman. Patrick, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Tony Williams. He just popped on, and he's somebody that I'm really looking forward to introducing you to. And then, Karis, I'm going to get you hooked up with Healing Warriors. I think that what you're doing is something that can really do magic, because this is, I guess, if you want to call it, this is a form of magic. This is a way to, heal yourself, at least heal your heart a little bit. So, but I want to thank you so very much for coming on, and I invite
you for having me
anytime. So,
all right.
But hey, everybody, for Patrick, for Karis, my name is Zach Clayton, founder and president of Community Pay It Forward. We will see you next week right here on Footprints Forward. Thank you for joining us.